and we'll go from there.
Good.
All right. Hey, everyone. I'm so glad you could join our call tonight. It's very special with our Diamond Upline, Melissa Darby. And she's going to tell us a little bit about her family. I'm going to ask her a couple questions. And then at the end, we'll do some Q&A. Here's a little bit about Melissa. Let me tell you, first of all, how she falls in line with our Plexus team. So we have Yvonne is or an emerald, okay, then myself, then Amy Robinson, then Jamie Copeland, then Leslie Weaver, then Blair Lavoie, then Melissa. Yay! So basically, we're very honored to have her on this call to take time away from her husband and her son and her daughter to talk with us and give us some little advice. So let me tell you first of all about Melissa.
I love this. This is my
Hang on.
favorite part. So I love that y'all asked, because I was like, man, anytime I get to do this, I always leave so filled up. Like when you find what you do and do what you love and do what you love, then man, it's a fun thing. So I'm really privileged to be here. And I just want y'all to come with a really open mind tonight and just know, like, these conversations are going to go the way that they're meant to go, in the direction that they're meant to go. So bring whatever you want to the table and we'll jump into it. Like, I'm not afraid to say the hard stuff or talk about the hard things. I'm not here to just make it all seem like it's easy. So we'll get into it tonight.
Awesome. Yay. Okay. Here's a little bit about Melissa, just so y'all know. Melissa's 41. She's been married 20 years to her amazing husband, Nathan, who some of you met, who popped on the call earlier as her tech support. And she has he is a type 1 diabetic.
Yeah.
And she has a son that is 12 and a daughter that's 16 and a wonderful Emerald mother-in-love, Debbie Darby. That is an Emerald ambassador. So Melissa, can you first tell us a little bit about how you got into these products and give us your family's testimony? Because it's an amazing one.
It is, and there's a lot to it. And so it's such an important part, everyone's why is so crucial to why they do the business. And so, but there's a lot of different aspects to it. So I hope that there will be different pieces and parts that connect to you. But even if you aren't saying, okay, I don't have an autistic person in my life, I want y'all to just try to hear the different pieces to it, because as you do and as you talk to people, you will find that they have those needs. So just try to hear me. And if there's things that might connect, write it down so we can connect after the call, so I can get you in touch with people, because I think testimonies are what drive. I mean, if we don't have products that work, then, it's all about real stories, real lives, real people. And so we actually joined Plexus 8 years ago this month. That's coming up. Yeah. April 25th of 2013. Is that right? I'm really bad at math. You can be a diamond and be sucky at math. But it's 8 years this month. And you're right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. When I went to college, I said, I love people and I hate math. I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. Can you help me? Anyway, so long story long, my husband, will have been married 20 years, coming up in May. Oh my gosh, that's next month. Woo, okay, got to get that figured out, or almost next month. Okay, and we have 2 beautiful kiddos. My daughter Alexis just turned 16 last week, and our son Carson is 12. And so just a little family history. We are a medical mess of a family. Okay, we are a hot mess, medical mess. My husband was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at age 8. So he has been diabetic for over 35 years. That means his pancreas is broken. It does not produce insulin at all. He is completely 100% reliant on insulin or he will die. So that's just the reality of that. The life expectancy difference for a type 1 is 20 to 25 years less than a person that has a pancreas that works. So it's very real. It's very in my face on a daily basis. And so, he's my person. So then I have my 2 babies. My daughter has ADHD. She has some learning issues. We held her back. And she has extreme anxiety, which she probably gets from me. And then we have our 12-year-old son who is autistic. He was diagnosed at 15 months with regressive autism. He actually, his speech started going backwards, where he went from 80 words to 5 um, in 2 months. It was very scary, very scary. But he also had gut health issues from the beginning. I was exclusively nursing my baby, exclusively nursing, did wheatgrass shots, did the yoga, did all the things. I was a personal trainer. I cheered in college. I've always cared about health and wellness. That didn't necessarily mean that I knew what I was doing with health and wellness. I still love my Papa John's pizza and my Bluebell ice cream, but I was always an active person. And my son comes along, I'm exclusively nursing him, and he did not have a bowel movement for 13 days of his, the first 13 days of his life. So imagine like meconium and the amount for moms, or any of you that are moms, the amount of diapers that you're changing those first 2 weeks. We just had a baby that was screaming in pain. And at that point, okay, so he's 12 now. So think about that. 12 years ago, when I went to a GI doctor, gut health was not a thing. It wasn't cool. Microbiome wasn't a word. I mean, no one cared about gut health 12 years ago. Autism wasn't even it wasn't, from an insurance perspective, it wasn't even a medically relevant condition. Nothing was covered. So we were doing surgeries with him. We were doing like GI surgeries with him as a baby that were $20,000 out of pocket. My husband, so it was a hard time for us. And so I ended up working an internet marketing job. My background's in news and broadcasting and in journalism marketing, but I ended up taking a job that I could do from home because I did not want to leave my babies, especially this little boy that, if we didn't understand, how could anyone else? And long story long, I got paid well to do that job, but it was not my passion at all. I was coding, first of all, that's a computer science degree, like I said, speech comm major. But long story long, I was doing email campaigns for Ethernet telecom messaging in Japanese, Russian, all these different languages that I'm then coding in computer in like Java and HTML. Not my passion. Okay, that doesn't change lives at all, but it paid the bills. And that gave me a way to help pay for the medical bills because, my son was 15 months old and we just didn't have that kind of money lying around to get him the treatments that he needed. But we also had doctors saying, well, just put him on acid reflux meds. And I'm like, okay, no, I have a 2-week-old in my arms here who is screaming in pain. That's a Band-Aid. Why is this happening? Help me understand the why. And they couldn't give me the reason. And so that really put me on a mission that was bigger than myself, which was, I'm getting down to the bottom of this. I'm going to give him the best life possible. That is my job. And in doing that, I uncovered so much about, it really related back to gut health. It really taught me a lot about my husband so we all went gluten-free. I come to find out my husband had both of the genetic markers for celiac disease. His doctors now think that he became diabetic because of that, which I know sounds crazy, but I've learned just a lot about when your body and your immune system it will respond. It will send up a red flag saying something has to change here. So I've learned a lot about health and nutrition and wellness through the have to. I always loved the active part. I always loved being active and wanting, that part of the health side. The nutrition and health end really came out of necessity. So Plexus comes into the picture. Are y'all familiar with Suzanne Clinton-ish? Do some of y'all know who she is? Okay, that's my upline. We had both moved. So we packed up our family. We moved to Little Rock, Arkansas. My whole life was in Texas. I'm an only child. My whole family, all my friends were in Texas, but we moved for a special needs school for my son. Like I said, I was on a mission to give him the best life possible. When I say that, I mean, that was truly my mission. And so when we got here, I met Suzanne. She was from Texas as well. We had kids the same age, and she came to me and told me about Plexus, which really at that point, if y'all can kind of think back 8 years ago, try to imagine, it was about weight loss. And so that wasn't anything that I wanted, that did not align with my beliefs at all, because that to me is a quick fix. It's pills. No. That's a fad. No. Nothing about that is addressing the gut, any of those things. And so I said, no, thank you. And I saw it I kept seeing it on Facebook pop up. And I was like, I was interested, but I was more interested in debunking it. I was more interested in saying why it wasn't right for us. And so by doing research, I'm like, I always need to know if I'm going to say no to something, I need to know why I'm saying no to it. Don't just say no. Understand why you're going to say no. As I did research, I sat down with my husband and I said, call me crazy, but I'm a marketing major here. And there is this huge disconnect. This is a gut health company. This is all about treating inflammation. This is about getting to the gut, to the root of the issue. These are the things I've been reading about. You need this. And I think we do too. And so I went back to Suzanne and talked to her, and she was like, yeah. I knew that y'all needed this in some way, shape, or form, but it really put me on a fact-finding mission. And really where I started in my business was sharing what I called the Fab Four at the time, which was the Slim, the X Factor, the Bio Cleanse, and the ProBio 5, because that's what we had. Okay. We didn't have all of these other products. So I kind of came in and shared a whole different message about Plexus. It wasn't about the weight loss as much. It was more about gut health. And my husband had an incredible testimony. He lost 40 pounds in the first 6 months of using the Fab Four. He did use the accelerator as well. And he was really in trouble with his diabetes. That was a whole other piece of this. His doctor had come home to him and said, he came home to me and said, my doctor said, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When are these problems going to come up? It's not a matter of if, this is coming. And, I had, because of my background, I really wanted to take care of him. I knew the facts. It was scary for me. I have a special needs child. I don't have brothers and sisters or family on this side. I need support, and I need my husband to be here and be able to help us and help me make these decisions. And when he went back to his doctor after he had that really scary report, after being on the triplex accelerator and the triplex accelerator and ProBio 5, he had lost 40 pounds. He went from a 42-inch waist to a 34-inch waist. His cholesterol, he was on cholesterol meds, went from extremely high to normal, and his blood pressure regulated. His endocrinologist looked at him and said, are you training for an Ironman? Like, whoa, I've never, who you are and the man that I saw walk in here 6 months ago to who you are right now on paper does not add up. I've never seen anything like this. What are you doing? And he's like, well, we went gluten-free a couple of years ago, but my wife has me on some supplements. And he said, I want your wife to bring me those supplements tomorrow. Set up a meeting. I want to talk to her. And so that was really the first big validation that I had, was this bigwig endocrinologist saying to me, I want to rep these products today. This is incredible. And because we looked at the research, because I had done some of the research too. So I was also explaining some of the gut health benefits. He totally believed in a probiotic. He completely understood that inflammation starts in the gut and how important it is to be that regulates blood sugar. And he was just a huge advocate. And I think that really fueled me, because I saw my husband thriving. I had a doctor backing me. And I knew that my kids really needed this as well. What I didn't realize was how jacked up I was too. So yeah, personal trainer, cheered in college, did all the things, but then I ended up with mono as an adult. So I have Epstein-Barr virus, and I have a very compromised immune system as well, which is probably why my son has a lot of the things he has too. So when I didn't even start on the products, y'all. We were a Dave Ramsey family. We didn't have the budget for, all of us to get on Plexus. So it was all about my husband at first. But after I saw the results with him and I got that first paycheck in, I tried it too. And what I tell people is you just don't even realize how bad you feel until you feel good again. So I really felt the change and the difference too. So that is the long story long, but it has been a total game changer for our family. I loved being able to come and share this as a gut health company, and that the weight loss is there. I mean, whatever your body needs, Plexus is going to do it. So if you need your body is going to balance itself out. It wasn't about, XYZ symptoms. It was about come to me with your issues and let's figure out exactly what we need to put you on and get your body back in balance again. And really, my son, my daughter, myself, my mother-in-law, who's an emerald, who had been through breast cancer, thyroid disease, so much. Our whole family just really saw the change, saw the benefits. And then when we saw it and other people saw it, and when other people saw it, they wanted to know what we were doing. Just like I was asking people in my life at that time what they were doing, because I was sick and tired. I was scared for my husband and I needed something. So Plexus ended up being way more than just a thing. It was an answer to prayer. And then there was the whole business part of it, which I really was not having. I had my job, it was fine, but it wasn't my passion. And as we started talking more and more to people, and as I really got into the gut health part of this, I really found that people wanted to hear what I had to say. Not everyone. I've been told no so many more times, and I've been told yes. But when I was told yes, it was life-changing discussions. Life-changing discussions. And that just fills my tank in a way that no marketing campaign in Russian is ever going to do. Right? And so really my plan, I went to my husband and said, okay, once I go Emerald, I am quitting my job. And it was one of those things. I wanted to quit my job right then and there, but we didn't have the testimonies that you guys have now. If you're familiar with Celeste Gwynn or Jen Hawkins, they were Ruby ambassadors when I joined. So we didn't have the business testimonies. We had our personal health testimonies, but I didn't have all of these people to look at and say, if they can do it, I can too. But I went to Leaders Retreat and I met Celeste and Jen, and my sponsor, Suzanne Clinton, went Emerald on that trip. And I left Leaders Retreat knowing this was my mission. That event gave me the vision. I got to meet other people. I saw like-minded, wonderful people. I saw retired husbands. That gave me the vision. And I was like, this is happening. So that event, Leaders Retreat, is what really changed it for me, because I got outside of my bubble. And so I went Emerald in 8 months. I quit my job. I was so excited. And then Plexus became my full-time gig that December. And then I went diamond in, well, I went diamond in July by the hair of my chinny chin chin, and a level 6 returned product on the 14th. And this was back when you had to wait 2 weeks for all of the returns to come in. So I went and bought my Lexus, because I waited. I didn't buy my Lexus at Emerald. I waited to go diamond. I went and bought my Lexus and all that. And y'all, I lost diamond by 2 points. I don't tell most people this. I don't tell people this. I went and bought my car. It was done. I mean, I didn't even buy my Lexus until I went diamond. That's how much I believed. And then I freaking lost it by 2 points on the last day. And it was devastating to me, because that's like at the moment where you should just be at the biggest part of celebrating, like you finally made it. And I remember talking to customer service, and I think we were a week and a half into the next month. And I was still fighting for what had happened in July. And he looked at me and said, well, why aren't you focusing on August? Like, this is, why are you still stuck in the past? Because I was holding on to a dream that I didn't know would ever happen again. And he really opened my eyes and said, why are you fighting for something that you can't change when you still have everything in front of you? And I went diamond that month. and got it. And so I'm telling y'all that because there have been some major ups and downs in this business. I'm not going to lie. I think any of you that have spent any kind of time doing this know that it takes some serious grit and determination to do this. But I say that to you just being honest, because I had to even learn at my first month in Diamond that things are unpredictable, but you also have to be able to let go let go of hurt and keep moving forward and keep dreaming forward, because he was so right. I mean, it ended up, it all worked out, and it kind of gave me a moment of, you just have to let go sometimes and let the good things happen. So that's probably a lot longer than you wanted of my testimony, but that's
No.
my story. So yeah, so I went Diamond in about 13 months, which was pretty unbelievable. But again, this was 8 years ago almost. And it's been the best job I've ever had my whole life. I'm never quitting, no matter what. I don't care what anyone says. No one's ever taken me away from this. And I've just loved every part of it. And the hardest Plexus days have been better than any day I've ever had doing anything else. And that's what keeps me going, are the people and just the company and the culture. So
Oh, thank you, Melissa. Oh my gosh, that was so good. I've heard part of your story. Well, I've heard your story before, but I could hear that story every day. And I love my next question was about the vision, the opportunity, but you kind of already told us that. And I love how that, the reason you got on these products was because Suzanne Clinton came to you. Like, think of it, if she did not share these products, then you would not be on them.
yeah.
Who knows what would happen to Nathan at this point if you think about that.
His
And
uncle, really quick, his uncle is the
go ahead.
one family member that had type 1 diabetes, and he passed away at 41, and my husband is 44.
Oh my goodness.
He had 2 kids just like we did, 41 years old, gone. My husband's 44. You are so right. And that is what I have to just hold on to and say thank you for every day. Now we're sitting in a home I never could have dreamed that we could have. I mean, there's so many more blessings that, like, I would love to tell you all about that have happened along the way, but that's the biggie right there, is I have my husband, and I know definitively, compliance or not, Plexus has given me years back with my husband. I know that. And that is the biggest part of the why, for sure. But there's so much else that's changed because of what the business has offered too. So when people ask me what's more important, your business testimony or your product testimony, I said they are both completely life-changing, mind-blowing. So they are both equally wonderful.
I totally agree with you there. And I love how your passion for it developed, and the vision developed at Leaders Retreat, because that's where I met you. My first Leaders Retreat was in Florida, in Orlando.
Yes.
That's when I first met you, and you're like, oh, I'm like, oh, that's Melissa. Let's go find her. And I'm
We've
running up
always
there.
had that connection from the beginning.
Yes.
You did. You and I did. I mean, we just did. So
Yes.
yeah,
It
I
was
mean,
it
you're
was
equally
amazing. Yes. So I can't wait for us to get back to go into some of these events and convention, because I will tell you, anytime there's a convention, Leaders Retreat, Melissa Darby always has a party in her room. And it's so fun. You can't move. You're like this, and you can't breathe because there's so many people.
pre-COVID, obviously. Pre-COVID, right?
Pre-COVID, yes. Pre-COVID.
That's how it used to be. It's going to be, we will have that again. It will.
We will.
Yeah.
We will. And my favorite was when you had all those flip-flops. We come into the room and there's like 100 pairs of flip-flops lying on the table, because she's giving them to all her team. Like, this is what Melissa is, you guys. She truly does care and love us, no matter what level below we are. We're all her team. So
we drank champagne. Everyone put on their flip-flops. We just sat around the room and talked. We just wanted to meet everyone and know why I mean, it was just so fun. That's, to me, the relationships and the community. Like I said, I don't have brothers and sisters. So this to me has been so much more than, again, just, it's just been a family to me. So I want to give back to that. I adore everyone that I meet. There's just so many. We're just really we really are special and different. And I think it's so important for us to know that on the hard days, is we are chosen. You are here tonight for a reason. you're here because you believe in what you're doing. And I appreciate all of you like taking time out of, especially on a weeknight with kids and life and routines and jobs and all the things, just to get on. Your commitment to this means something to me. So I appreciate each and every one of you. I can't wait to hug you all, hopefully soon. Hopefully soon.
Yay, awesome. Okay, now I'm going to get down to more kind of like the business part. So,
Yep.
can you speak on basically what sparked your growth and what sustained it, and some steps that you do to keep on going after being in it for so many years? Like, what you keep doing? Do you mind going through that?
No, not at all.
Perfect.
One of the big things that stood out to me in the beginning was find people that you know can do this so much better than you can. So that was kind of a mission. Okay, so first of all, let's go back. First of all, it was about talking to diabetics. I had a niche there. I definitely went after product testimonies in the beginning, especially because, like I said, we didn't have all of these business testimonies to go on. So I really built my business on people that I knew needed product. When that happened, the financial opportunity, I really made sure that people that wanted these products could get them paid for month one. That is my biggest business tip is if people can get Plexus for free, then when their car breaks down or their animal needs, when you have emergency bills or when it's Christmas, oh wait, it's December, I forgot I was going to spend money in December. Wait, you do that every year. When those unexpected / actually expected expenses come along, or the unexpected come along, that Plexus is always something that doesn't take out of your spreadsheet. Because we were Dave Ramsey, I had to make sure that we were able to get those supplements paid for no matter what. Because at the end of the day, if your lights go out, you're going to pay your electric bill, but you're not going to always choose health and wellness, which is really a sad thing. But at the end of the day, that's reality. So getting product in people's hand and making sure it's paid for, that's a deal breaker for me. That has to happen. So I make sure that happens to each and every person that I talk to. That's my top, like first Plexus 101. Secondly, sorry, I'm trying to think what I was trying to tell y'all here. I'm sorry, go back to what was the question? I'm sorry, I'm blanking.
What sparked your growth and what sustained it, and the steps
Yes.
you keep going?
Oh, okay.
Keep you going.
Yes. Okay, sorry. So step 2 is finding people that you know will do this well, but really like the bigger challenge here, like the thing I want you to really walk away thinking about tonight, who do you know that can do this better than you? Those are your level ones. If you can get 1, 2, 3, 7, one person that can do it better than you, it's a game changer. So I brought on 2 gals that I knew could do this better than me. One of them, I mailed her the welcome pack and made her business cards, and she mailed it to her sister-in-law, and we're best friends. And I knew she didn't even like her sister-in-law. So I was like, well, that sucks. Okay, great. And that's my person. I know this is Sally Crosby, y'all. Sally, okay? Who's a diamond now. I was like, well, shit, she's not gonna, okay, well, crap. I know she didn't even like her. So what are we gonna do? So what I did was invited her to convention accidentally because she lived in Texas. I lived in Little Rock. We were college besties and we didn't get to see each other. And it was my birthday weekend. So I called her that first convention and said, I have a free hotel. I've got some fun friends I want you to meet, but we're going to have a little birthday party up here in Dallas. We got this great room. Oh my gosh, I'd totally love to come. Well, it was convention. So what she didn't know is that she was walking into Plexus convention, but I had, like I said, I knew that she could do this business better than I could. She had 4 part-time jobs. Her husband was in youth ministry. She was teaching fitness classes. She's just one of those just people that you were drawn to. I knew that if I could get Sally Crosby on board, that life like done. And so it's so funny. She came to convention, had no idea. That really is a true story. Fell in love with our team, with all the people, and left saying, okay, fine. think I'm going to go for it. But it took that kind of like it took me getting to leaders retreat. I think it's important. And I know right now with COVID, it's really complicated, but I do think the value of getting people to our events is so important. And I know that that is something that we don't have right now. And that's a hard thing. I know we will get back to it, but make sure even if it's virtually, I can look right now and I can see you guys and say, this is a group of people that I would want to talk to every week of my life. So make sure that the people that you know can do this better than you get to see what we have to offer, because we have classy, intelligent, independent, um, very resourceful people that all really care about each other. And I think also, if you're in a pandemic and you can't get to people, that we need that more than ever. So even if it is on a Zoom screen, that's better than what most people are getting on a regular day. Um, yeah, we are. I think we're totally amazing. And I think y'all are. And so, so getting people that can do this better than you. Blair Lavoie. So she's my level 1 diamond. She's my primary leg. That girl can sell the world. So, but it's funny because she can bring people in, but then it's like, I don't know what to do. So what I said is, bring the people. I will change the diapers, baby. Okay, we got this. Because she knew all of these people that I didn't have that network like she did. And we got really into a place where I said to her, she was like, I don't know that I have the time to do this. And what I said is, I do. If you will bring those influencers in together, let's do this. And, she kind of had to take a step back. We had to adjust, we had to figure things out. But really, what I love is that, all three of my level 1 jewels have a different story, but they're all so special in that, one of my girls, I said, bring them to me. If you don't have the time to, I do. Let me pour into them. And I brought her in, like, Blair would be a part of that conversation, but a lot of times I would kind of step in and help. So if you have someone on your team that is struggling with time right now, let's say, like maybe you're at a spot in your rank where you're really ready to move forward, but you don't know where to go. Okay. Look at the people that you have on your team, even if they're not active right now, and think about some of their networks. And I will tell y'all, one of the most brilliant things that I can think of to say to someone is, I understand that you may not have the time to do this right now, but I do. And I would love to bless you by getting to know more of your people. Would you mind sharing? Would you get me in touch with some of the influencers in your life? We'll start with the three of us. And then if I can take over, or we can do this together. But what that does is that totally untaps a whole new network. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel more comfortable talking to Sally's people or Debbie's people or Blair's people than I do my aunt or my best friend that's from college that really hasn't been, it's like the people closest to you sometimes are some of the hardest. We do definitely have some family on our team, but I do love being able to talk to other people's people. And that, if you're at a point where you're like, I don't know what to do, I've tapped out, I don't know who else to talk to, go back and look at the people that you've brought in along the way and have that conversation with them, because that is a win-win. Can you imagine someone coming to you right now and saying, hey, I will help you work your people. Can you just help me get in contact with some of them? Yeah, yes, please. I would love for Suzanne Clinton to call me and say, I'm going to work with you on your list of people. Let's go. We're not at that point now. So I'm just saying, but you guys can be. So if you're at a place where you're looking for new people, consider the team that you already have in front of you and who maybe a few of the people are in their networks, because really it only takes 1, 2, or 3 of those people to change it all right there. So that's some advice that really helped me along the way. That's what got Blair going, was us getting into that spot of, okay, bring the people, you know what I mean? Her strength was recruiting people. My strength was training. And, like we just kind of had to get a partnership there.
Awesome. Thank you. And yes, I remember the Plexus Bible. Amy mentioned it.
Oh
I
my
had mine in a 3-way binder. I think I probably still have it here someplace. I'm not kidding you. It was amazing. We had no training back then. at all. So
Mm,
Melissa was
no.
creating all these documents. But I love that. And I also love that you said in month one, try to get the products paid for, because if you guys notice, or what I found with Plexus, December is usually literally like the lowest point month I've probably had every single year, that month, because I
Mhm.
think people shut off because, like you said, they're like, oh no, I got to buy gifts. And they kind of put Plexus on the back burner, where if they were making money through Plexus, they would get their products paid for and keep back on them. So I love that point. Yeah, very good point.
You have to make sure that no one has, I mean, it has to be an excuse-free situation.
Exactly.
That's how they will keep taking their products. Because, I mean, if all of us know that if we could have Plexus for free, would we take it? Yes. So make sure that they don't ever have to make that decision.
Yes. Great advice. Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit of what your favorite and most successful reach out message is, or how do you follow up?
Honestly, I'm just me. I mean, I don't have like a 10-step thing here. I just think it's really important to find what you're good at and talk to people in that way. So I'm not Brooke Hemingway, or I'm not Celeste, I'm me. And so what I found at the very beginning was that I really wanted to be a Sonia Dudley or be those people, and that wasn't as authentic. And so what I found was just making people needed to understand my passion, and I needed to make sure that they understood that, because I will say people can see my passion and they say, I want that. Or I can tell that you really believe in this. Like, this isn't just money for you. You really have a passion for this. So I think it's just so important for people to genuinely understand why you're doing this. And you have to be able to help them and really make them feel seen, heard, and valued. So asking the right questions, making time. And like, I'm not a big phone person, but if I can tell someone really needs to jump on the phone and talk, then I'm going to talk. I'm going to spend that time and talk to them. When I talk to people on social media, I do it through voice text, I do it through voice messenger, so they can hear my voice, because I think it's so easy to ignore just a type, but when they hear your voice, there's energy behind that. So there's just been little things like that where I've said, okay, trial and error. What works is when they hear my story. What works is when they hear my voice. What works is when I'm able to ask the right questions so they feel heard and valued, and then I'm able to give them a custom plan. There's something about feeling exclusive or chosen that makes people also feel special. So a lot of times what I will say is, okay, now that we understand your health goals, I want to put together a customized plan that's specifically made for you and for your health goals. Now, y'all know we've got just, a handful of combos, but when you really make someone feel like that you've spent the time developing a plan for them, they're going to feel a lot more excited about doing that than just handing them a sample pack, right? I mean, to me, even if it really is just becoming a preferred customer and trying the products, they're going to feel more invested in if you've come up with a specific plan for them. So it's not rocket science, it's just making them feel invested in and listened to, and then following up. I mean, we all talk about the fortune of the follow-up, but it's real. You have to keep talking to people. That doesn't mean you have to have a 45-minute conversation. Again, that can be a voice text of, hey, it's Monday. I know you've been on the products for a week now. Talk to me. How are you feeling? If you have any concerns, let's talk about it. So then they say, or I'm not feeling well, you can talk to them about the detox. I think it's just being a real person and just allowing people to feel like that they can access you and that you just can love on them and answer their questions and problem solve. And it's also okay to not have the answer. There's been plenty of times where I've said, you know what, I'm not sure about that, but I know someone that does. I'm going to talk to my friends at corporate and get back to you. That is so okay. It's also so okay if you don't get right back to them that second. It's also okay to have balance in your business, especially when you're building and growing and building and growing. You're in that stage where you're trying so hard to promote. I also just want y'all to know that it's okay to let life happen first. There are no emergencies in network marketing, and it is okay to take the time to ask someone to get the right answer, or you know what I mean? Like, I just want y'all to have that freedom too. I know we talk about freedom, but it's not freedom if you don't allow yourself to have it. Give yourself the ability to have balance so you don't resent this job and then you aren't burnout.
Great, thank you. The balance is key because you can't, unless you don't have balance in your life.
Yeah, and I wasn't.
It's
I
all about
didn't.
balance.
I wasn't at all. That we were building in a, like I said, no one had instruction manuals, so we made one. There wasn't balance. We didn't have coaching. We didn't have Monday night calls. We didn't have Wednesday night welcomes. We didn't have those things. I burnt myself out, and I don't want y'all to do that. You can be successful and do this and learn from other people that have done it the wrong way but still come out okay in the end too. So those calls, on those motivation Monday calls, are so good, you guys. I know the timing isn't necessarily the best, but you can register and you can listen to them later. But corporate has really done a fantastic job of providing so many of the tools that we were doing on our own. So if you are not taking advantage of the corporate calls, you're really missing out on such a golden advice. I get on those calls and they blow my mind. I listen to them every week, y'all. Because I want to learn. I want to learn from the best. So if you're not and I understand you can't always do, but like I said, what I'll do is I'll just register for it and then I'll plug in and I'll be doing things and listening, but I will learn something from just about every one of those calls. Being in it 8 years too, I'm having to learn a new way. So wherever you guys are in your business, what I love about corporate is they take people from all walks of life in all different situations and find a common ground. So if you are not doing that, that's something like, take the time to do it. You can drive and pick up your kids, you can do laundry, you can do dishes, you can cook dinner and still listen and get so fed at the same time.
Totally agree with you, Melissa. That's a great idea. And I'm the one to always listen and multitask while you do it.
Yeah.
And then I'll have my sheet of paper there and then I'll be like, oh, better
Mhm.
write it out. But that way you're doing both things.
I've
You're
learned so
maximizing
much
your time.
just about mindset through these women, especially just about conquering my own fears and getting out of my head. I don't know if that's something that resonates with y'all, but that's something I'd love to talk to you guys about, maybe even on our next call if y'all want to go deeper. Mindset is something I've learned so much about. We throw that word around like it's like slim, we throw around mindset, but if your mind isn't right, if you don't believe that you're worthy of this, then there's something seriously wrong. All of you guys started this believing that you could do it, and you wouldn't be on this call tonight if you didn't believe that it was possible. You might be on the call tonight and believed that it was possible at one point, and now you're just doing the motions, but every single one of you joined this believing that you could do it. So if you're at a place that belief maybe has slipped, that's something that I really want to really kind of throw back in your face and say, that's something that needs to be addressed, because you have got to believe in the process and that you are worthy of it and that you can do it. And so if there's any part of that that's broken, talk to your upline, talk to me. I have a life coach that I'm using. I finally broke down and got one for the first time. I know people have been, doing this forever, but I have someone, her name is Allison Katie, and I've used her with some of these. I've done some free trainings. I've done a few of these events. I don't know if any of y'all have taken advantage of that, but she is worth every penny and twice on Sunday, and is teaching me so much about this little brain up here. And I'm such an optimist. I'm a blue, I'm party head cheerleader, those things. And I'm still so some devalued sometimes, or feel like I'm a failure. And she just really helps me to understand that that is just such a lie from the pit of hell. So if you haven't, okay, a couple other things. I'm totally jumping off tangent here, but outsource with your income. Outsourcing is having someone clean your house, getting a life coach. What is it that matters to you the most? Spend some of your plexus, invest in whatever that is. So if it's that you're like so freaking done with cleaning toilets and that you don't have plexus freedom, then get someone to come and clean your house and bless you in that way. If it's that you can't stand who you are right now and you're trying to share plexus with people, but you feel like a fraud because your mind is selling you junk, invest in a life coach. I never would have said that, but now that I've done it, it has been the best thing I've ever done. So, wherever your stumbling block is, really identify it and figure out what you can do to help get better with that spot. I mean, we all want to do the things that we love, but I think if you know where you're suffering or if you know what's holding you back, find a way to give yourself freedom in that way, because that's what's going to that's when you'll have freedom. That's when you'll be excited to do this job again. If you come in and you have a clean house once a week, that's what matters to you. It's worth doing this, right? I mean, would you rather scrub floors or would you rather love on people? Would you rather go to the psychiatrist or would you rather talk to a mindset coach that knows your business, that is really kind of a psychiatrist and a therapist and a friend that can do all of those things? So I don't know, just something to think about. Things that I've done that have changed my life, getting a house cleaner and getting a mind coach. For me, that's been what I've needed so much. But
Great advice. Thanks, Melissa. I have one more thing, and maybe you've kind of already touched on it towards the end. And I guess the whole call is going to wrap up to this question.
okay.
Okay. So we have a lot of newer people on this call right now that started probably in the past 2 years. Like,
Mhm.
what are some top advice you have for them? Like 2 or 3 things that you say, here's what you have to do to just keep on going to get there, to reach your goals.
Okay.
And like I said, you've kind of basically floated it in this entire call, but I don't know if you had advice for the people that are more newer, just getting in there, growing from um, silver to senior, silver to gold,
For sure.
ruby.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think the first thing is that you cannot give up on this. I mean, and I'm sure you've heard that, but the only thing that you can do wrong is give up. If you give up, there is a 0% chance that you are going to go anywhere with Plexus. And I know y'all have heard that a million times, but you've heard it a million times because it's true. You can have a crappy month. You can have really hard things in life happen where you have to step back and then you have to come back. But the one thing you cannot do is give up. And again, that doesn't mean that you have to have the best month ever every month. That's not realistic long term. I mean, especially in 8 years, y'all, I've had some serious highs and lows. But I've never, even if I've had to step away, even if I've had to look at my team and say, look, I'm just going to be honest with you. My daughter is getting professional help right now. Our family is not okay. I just need y'all to know I'm not going to be here. That's where your team steps in. So don't ever feel like that you cannot come to your team and be honest. And if life is like, if you're in the shitter, it is okay to come to people around you and ask for that help, because I certainly have. And people around me certainly have. And that's what we do, is we love on each other. So there's no giving up here when you have too many people that love you, that believe in you. So that's just not an option. I think the other thing is really making sure that you have a mentor, or I mean, obviously having a mentor would be ideal, but making sure you have an accountability partner. For me, doing this with someone is what makes it fun. Doing this with someone is what makes this worth it, because then we can run our heads into the wall together and be frustrated, but we always turn each other back and say, but here we go, we're going to do it. So I think it's so valuable to have a ride or die, someone with you no matter what, but you have to make sure that that ride or die person is going to bring you back around to a good space. If your ride or die person is going to make you feel depleted and checked out and frustrated, that is not the person you want with you. They are going to take you down, not up. So it's really important to have a ride or die, but it's also really important to have someone that is, it's like girls talking on a girls' night. You always, okay, we can rag on our husbands, but we're always going to come back to why we love them. So you can't have an accountability partner that's going to make you hate Plexus. If so, that is not an accountability partner. Out. Find someone that does. And if you don't have someone, I have people. You let me know. I'll get you in touch with some people. But I think having someone that's safe where you can have your hard days but also have someone that can help celebrate it is so important. I think, especially just as women, I think we all need that. Trying to think what else. Again, I think it's just, I really believe so much in going after influencers, going after finding people that can do this better than you can. That to me mattered more than all of my health testimonies put together. And I wish that I could say it was just all health testimony people that built my business. They are always those consistent 5 pointers. Those are my lifers. But the reason that I went diamond was because I found people that I knew could do this better than I could myself. And so that is probably my biggest advice. And then the other thing, again, just going back to this, just something to think about if you haven't, is really, if there are people on your team right now that are asleep behind the wheel, but they have people that could do this business, don't be afraid to go to them. Again, it's not what you say, it's how you say it and how they receive it. I know, if it's someone that's been checked out, I'm in a place where I have the time and I have the time and I have the passion to do this. Can I help by talking to some of your people? Because I want to get your products paid for, but there's also people in your business that I know can do this and do this better than I can. And what does that tell them? Okay, wait, my upline is going to support me in a way. I mean, that's just, no one's going to say no to that. So I think that's just some free advice that's really helped me, was to be able to go to some of my team members, drill for diamonds, those coal miners, they're people, you have to drill for diamonds. They're not all just going to be right there in your levels 1. A lot of that's been about accessing people's networks and getting to those people and asking permission in a way that benefits them. So they don't think you're going over their head, or that they're not relevant, or that they're not valued. Of course they are. And you want them to be a part of this. I mean, ideally, what happens is those people get excited, then guess what? Your level 1 gets re-engaged, because now they have people under them. They don't want to be left out. So really, it really can create a wonderful dynamic. And worst case scenario, the level 1 doesn't win any part of it. Okay, well, now you still have new people that know enough about Plexus, believed in it enough to join, that are ready to hear you. And sometimes hearing from an upline, from a different person that has a different experience, is exactly what they need to hear too. Is that kind of what you were wanting?
Perfect. That's perfect. I wrote them all down.
Okay.
Perfect. It was perfect. Thank you so much.
Questions? Like, throw things at me. Maybe, I don't know.
That's the next question.
Okay.
Is
do we have time for questions? Are y'all have time?
You know what? We can just keep going. If people have to get
I'm
off,
good.
they can get
Y'all
off.
are good. But if anybody needs to get off, doesn't hurt my feelings, go. But
awesome.
Y'all know me
Who
on
has a
Facebook
question?
now. So I'm going to give y'all my cell phone. I'm going to put it in my chat. Yes, I'm doing that for real. This is my cell. Text me anytime.
Okay? Melissa's amazing. Can you tell? I mean, how many people do that? Come on, y'all. She's amazing.
That's my cell.
Okay.
Don't be psycho, but let's talk anytime you have questions.
Okay, who has a question? Go ahead and unmute and go for it.
Me, I'm going first.
Hi, Agnes.
Hi, how are you? This was amazing. I'm sweating. I'm so excited. I'm
What?
sweating. Yeah, this was great for you to take time out of your life to come and speak with us and you don't have to do that. And you gave us so much great information. Thank you.
You're
very excited.
welcome. Thank you
So,
for telling me that.
Say it again.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
I just want to say when Yvonne tells us to put our subs in the beginning of the month, just so exactly the 2 points don't happen at the end. So is that what happens? Because make sure your subscription is at the beginning of the month, so you don't lose it at the end of the month. Is that what happens for you not to become diamond? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You became emerald in 8 months. Was it 8 months that when you decided to work? Did you find, I mean, you might have said this before, but it was so much information I was trying to write down. Did you find your people that you wanted to run with you right away? Was it your best friends or was your best friend's sister-in-law? What, like?
You know, that's a great question. And at the beginning, I think just like all of us, when we first start, it's only our network, right? It's only our people. So I remember I brought samples to my Bible study group and to my D group, and then Nathan had stuff going on at work and they could see what was going on with him. So I had some of his employees actually asking questions. I had my friends, some that were very interested, some that weren't. But what I would say is, so I had Debbie, who is my family, Sally, who was kind of on the fence, my college friend, Blair, who I knew Brooke, her sister, since I was 12, but Blair and I never met until Amelia Island. And she's my primary leg now. So that was through social media, which is crazy. But the cool thing, but her sister and I have known each other since we were 12. And anyway, Blair and my husband went to high school together. So there was a ton of ways that we knew each other, but we didn't know each other. So my primary is through social media. She saw me post about it on Facebook, as crazy as that is. But it was a mix of people that saw my husband's testimony and wanted to try, but honestly, the main people that are still in it today are people that knew me, that knew about my son's autism story, knew about my husband being diabetic, knew about my life, and understood that we were the real deal. We had a real testimony. And not everyone, like Blair didn't have necessarily a testimony, and she's a diamond. So you don't have to have a Darby testimony to be a diamond. But I think that we had a very authentic testimony coming in. And I think people saw that as, this is real. It wasn't just me trying to sell lipstick. It was, because I tried that. I did Arbonne before, and it wasn't my passion at all. I think people saw that this really aligned with our family and what we needed. And I think that helped.
It just took off. I mean, 8 months as diamond is amazing. Emerald is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it did. I worked really hard, I will say. Yeah, I did. And I worked my other 30-hour week job the entire time. And was and a mama, and you know what I mean? I was doing it all. So it was a lot, but yeah, I mean, it took off. I just really tried to talk to people like they were the only one in the room, and like they were the only people that mattered to me. And I still do that no matter what level they are.
Yeah.
And I think it's just genuinely making people feel invested in and valued and loved and heard. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that is the biggest thing that I can give you, is just taking time to really make people feel like you're invested in them. And if they believe that you are, then they will follow you. They will listen to you. They will do what you recommend. And even if the products don't work the way that you hope they do, they will be willing to switch and try it out. You know what I mean? If you really take that time and make them feel like you are there for them, I think at the end of the day, that's the most important thing you can do, and do it your way, not my way, not Tina's way, not Judy's way, but doing it the way that you do it.
Well,
So
Judy's
that
way
it's
is always
authentic.
right, so I'm just kidding.
What?
Judy's way is always right. It's just a joke. Thank you so much for talking to us tonight. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for telling me that.
Thanks, Agnes. Anyone else have a question for Melissa?
I do.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, Kelly.
Hi. I just had a quick question, Melissa. And maybe you mentioned it before I came on the call. I was a little late. I do apologize. Were there any books or audiobooks that you read, like to help, I don't know, increase sales or like change your mindset or whatnot? Like, we all know like sales, kind of like the stock market, is an up and down thing. It's never, consistent. Like sometimes we all get down or in a rut or whatever. Like, are there any books you would recommend to kind of get out of that rut? I mean, other than the Bible?
I do, which I do recommend the Bible first and foremost, by the way. So I'm glad we're talking the same language there. But
Yes, ma'am.
John Maxwell, I know he's a little more old school, but man, he really nails it in every aspect. There has not been a John Maxwell book that I haven't picked up or used in a book study that hasn't been beneficial. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. I'm not a huge reader. That's just not like, I know all these, you, guess what? You can be a diamond and not read every single book that's ever been made. Haven't done it. Okay. I just threw my pen. I don't know. Hadn't read it. Like, just honestly, no, that's just not my jam. But so I'm sorry if I disappointed you with that answer. Other people will be able to tell you about all the great books that they read. I have listened to podcasts. The one thing that I was saying at the beginning, I'm not sure if you've heard this, is I did invest in in kind of a life coach that is a business coach. Her name is Allison Katie. She has, and this has been this year, y'all. I'm like, here I am 8 years in. Yeah, I needed a life coach. Did not even understand the value of a life coach. I would say finding someone that can talk to you, help you through your weaknesses, validate your feelings, validate your emotions, because I often feel like, why am I the sensitive person? Why do I care so much? Why do I care more? Why does everyone else handle this better than I do? Why am I always the one that seems to hurt more? She was able to validate my feelings and help me know that that's what makes me good at being able to talk to people and relate to people and love on them. So I think a life coach, if you can get one, is fantastic. John Maxwell is great. I actually do have a whole list of books that I can recommend to you. I just haven't read them, but other people have and say they're great.
Thank you so much.
I'm telling you, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell you.
No. You know what? I'm not really like the best actual reader in the world. I mean, I can read. That's not what I mean. I mean, like time management wise. So I prefer audiobooks or like to listen to somebody else read. So I just wanted to know what should be on the list. But thank you so much.
I will send you some, okay?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yvonne.
All right.
Yvonne, I
So,
think Yvonne.
nobody
Yes.
listened to Melissa. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
I just kidding.
Melissa, thank you so much.
Why do you want to die? Wait, why does
I
why
want
do
to
you
die?
wanna die?
No, because
What?
I'm always like, guys, you need to read. You need to read.
Right. Then read, freaking read. Do what she says. Do
I
it.
asked
Honestly,
her-
no.
I
You
asked her
should
for a
read.
couple books. I was like, a couple books. She gave me a list of like 475.
Okay, okay.
Probably
So
four.
here's you know what? It's like journaling. I did not know the power of journaling until I took the time to do it. I know that once I take time to read, that I'm going to kick myself and say, why didn't I do this sooner? So I know that I'm choosing not to do that, but I am journaling and I do have a life coach. So reading is huge. I'm just being honest and saying like, that's not my strength, but I absolutely believe. And I mean, the women around me that read, they're just enlightened and they know things and they have there's so much that you can get from that. But you can also get a lot from podcasts. You can also get a lot from inspirational authors. You can get a lot from journaling. You can get a lot from life coaches. So find so for me, since reading isn't my favorite activity, then I found how I could still be fed. I think what the most important thing is who's feeding you? Anyone? If you're not being fed on some level, you're not going to stay motivated. It's going to be really hard to, I mean, we can only self-motivate ourselves so much, right? Especially like 8 years in, how? There, you are not going to always be motivated. And that's where the strength of reading really comes in, because it feeds you, right, Yvonne? I mean, reading feeds you, it fuels you. Getting a life coach fuels me. I mean, I leave going, I can handle anything now. I mean, she has walked me through the hardest relationships I've ever dealt with. She's helped me parent. She's helped me handle conflict. And so whatever, I mean, that's what I need right now. That's the way that I can receive that. So finding whatever works for you is definitely, I mean, just find what works. And guess what? You can try it and say, okay, reading isn't me. Okay, move on to podcasts, move on to and y'all, my personal coach, she's also offering classes for people that are trying to go emerald and people that are trying to go diamond. And so if y'all would want information or more about that, I'd love to share. She is phenomenal. She is truly gifted, and she has helped me learn so much about myself and really just break through a lot of the things that I thought were weaknesses. She helped me realize were strengths and helped me leverage that. So
Love that. I have one question, Melissa. So
Yeah.
I think it's the
Yes.
coolest thing that you have your mother-in-law as a jewel under you. Does she have plans to go diamond? Does she want to go to the top?
You know, it's so funny because she actually just signed up for Allison Katie's class to go diamond. And she's 71, breast cancer survivor, thyroid disease. I mean, it's been through it and back. And I mean, it's not her dream to go diamond. Like, she's okay with it. She's okay. That's not her end all be all. But she wants to have a solid emerald business where she's not having to worry about outside leg. You know what I mean? I mean, think about it, 71, right? I mean, she's working her business, but she wants to be at a place where she can be comfortable. But, you know, it was so funny because Allison and I, the life coach, and or because she's doing her classes too, have both helped her to say, well, so gosh, let's see, worst case scenario, you go diamond. How cool would that be? So why limit yourself to, I'm content here? Why not go for it? I mean, so if you don't make it, you're going to end up sapphire, which is still more than what you dreamed of. So I'm always trying to encourage her to go for more. And if you don't, I mean, it's neat because she's very content with where she is. She's financially in a place where she's okay with all of it. But I love that at 71, she has a life coach like I do. She's going to a personal trainer every week. Like, she is doing the hard things at 71 because she wants to have the best life. And I look up to her so much because I'm like, she puts in the work. You know, I mean, she's not sitting back and things just happening. She's really dedicated to making the most out of each day. So, I mean, I look up to her so much. Like, she's my hero. I want to be like her when I grow up. So, but I love that she has recently signed up for this diamond class because that was kind of a big step for her. She called me and she's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this class to try to go diamond. I'm like, yes. So it was just pretty cool because she's always been, I said to her, no one on your team is ever going to get past emerald if you can't show them how. And guess what? No one on her team has ever gotten past emerald. She has got to break that lid. If she isn't, if you know what I mean, I think it's harder to go past what your leaders are doing. It's possible. It does happen. I love that our comp plan allows that, but I do think that we have to be able to show our leader. I think we have to be able to show our team what we're capable of. And I think helping them see that we're still growing every month. Even those little contests, those little things, helping our team see that 5 years in or 2 years in or 8 years in, that we're still going for it. I think it's important for people to see that we're still fighting for it just like you are.
Perfectly said. I love that. Does anyone else have anything? I'm sorry, Melissa, if we've gone on for a long time.
I've just
from
been
you.
talking. I've been obviously just going. So I'm sorry if I took too much of your night.
No, it's perfect. I said,
This is
I
my
told you,
favorite thing. When I say this is my favorite thing, this is what I love to do. I do. I could do this
well,
every
you're really good. You're really good at it. So I can tell. Does anybody else have anything else to say before we let Melissa go and hopefully see her in person soon?
Please. We need people. We need people so bad.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding. Okay,
Anything
then
else? No? Okay. You have myself. So you know how
thank
to
you.
reach
Thank
me.
you. Thank you so much, Melissa. Seriously,
you.
and thank you for your cell phone. And we really appreciate you taking the time out of your night and go have fun with your
Awesome.
family now. And we love you.
Love you guys. Thanks.
Oh, thank you so much, Melissa.
Good night, Melissa.
night.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.